Bowling with the Theft.
Bowling with the Theft.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Your bowling stories.
They found you.
They did.
That's all over.
Every week.
Bowling has picked back up again.
Live.
UW Whitewater.
There it is.
Why the fedora? Do I look good in it?
I think you look great in it.
I want to challenge Skylar Pence.
Mike Hatton.
Let's do this.
Roll 'em.
This is Bowling with the Faf.
Well, good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Fef, a platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. And we have got a great one for you tonight. It's kind of rare when we have a guest on who is having the kind of day or even stretch of days that our guest has been having lately. And yeah, my man is on a heater. And I can't wait to talk to him about it and, get some extras in there that you're really only going to hear here. Done some research and got some interesting nuggets that I think he'll be happy to hear, and I hope you will too. So we will get to that in just a second here as we talk to Mr. Kennedy about his recent win and newer news than that. That he unveiled on social media a little earlier today. Well, the director of the Wisconsin State USBC, let's try that, says the association needs Wisconsin's membership to support its new Masters weekend to keep those events going in the future. Last week, the association announced it would hold a Wisconsin State USBC Masters weekend at Dale's Weston Lanes near Wausau on January 10th and 11th. Jason Pierick said in an email that he hopes to max out the three events over the weekend: the Wisconsin Masters Tournament on Saturday, January 10th, and the Badger Queens and Youth Masters on Sunday, the 11th. He also admits that filling all three is a, quote, big question mark right now. He said that the state's bowlers have been asking for a new tournament that follows the same template as Badger Queens, which is why the association started talking about the Masters. Declining numbers in the Queens and Youth Masters prompted the association to combine the three into one weekend. They chose Weston Lanes for the 2026 event because they wanted a bigger center to have everything on one squad. That way, they wouldn't have to have smaller number of bowlers participate. Badger Queens was at a Schwabenon this past May, and they figured bowlers wouldn't want to go to the same center in consecutive years. The Masters weekend will travel throughout the state using multiple centers through the years. Registration information is posted on the Bowling with the Fef Facebook page. You can go there to check it out. Well, the 2025-26 Big Ten Championships is coming up, and it'll all be live here on the channel. It returns to Bolero Mount Prospect on December 6th and 7th, and we have 10 schools bringing men's and women's teams to do battle and win a championship title. The last Big Ten Championships is at the end of January of this year. And beginning of February, it saw Ohio State's men's team and Purdue women's team leave as champions. Who will it be this year? Be sure to watch and find out. And then, in a tradition that dates back 3 years, all the way back to Thanksgiving week, 2022, we've got the Feftacular returning to Village Bowl and Social in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, Wednesday, November 26th, 6:30 p.m., where the doctor, John Workala, will be in. It's really rare that you find a doctor working on the night before Thanksgiving, but this one is, along with Iggy and Serge and the rest of the Serbskis Club, the world champion Serbskis Club. I'll be joining them for 3 card games, the Halfway There Choir, and of course, bowling for Chip Magnet Salsa at Feftacular number 4. Be there or check it out live on the channel where we will be live streaming all night long. If you are in the Eau Claire area, have bowling needs, be it coaching, accessories, or bowling balls, be sure to check out Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lanes. You can find them at 715-559-1822. If you have video production needs, check out Visionary Video Hub for video production, live streaming, voiceover, and podcasting. Find out more at visionaryvideohub.com. And if you have salsa needs, there's only one place to go, and that's chipmagnetsalsa.com. If you order 6 jars and enter the promo code BWTF2025 at checkout, you'll get 25% off of that order, and there is no limit. And this is the best time to stock up right before having the family over for Thanksgiving or the holidays. Get a bunch of that Chip Magnet salsa. You can also find it on Amazon. Just search for the Chip Magnet store and stock up. Chip Magnet salsa. Raise your snack standards, and a big thank you to all the supporters of Bowling with the Fef, Chip Magnet Salsa Visionary Video Hub, and Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply. Well, tonight's guest is the most recent winner of one of America's most prestigious high-level tournaments. Josh Kennedy traveled across the country from Minnesota all the way to Arizona to bowl the Agent Ong Open, a tournament that's now been running 3 years strong. In year 2, Agent Ong strikes back. Kennedy made the finals and finished 3rd. But this time around, he was able to seal the deal. He finished in 1st, taking down Cortez Schenck in the finals. You can see the top 5 finishers there, and took home that Agent Ong Open title, a $10,000 first prize. It was quite an accomplishment for the bowler from Blaine, Minnesota, which is where he is joining us from here tonight. If I can pull him up here, let's try and add him to the stage. That's easier there. Josh Kennedy joining us in an episode called Breaking Down Walls. Josh, congratulations and welcome to Bowling with the Fef.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, this is such an exciting time for you. Of course, the Agent Ong Open, which we're going to get to. This afternoon, you announced that you are now part of the RotoGrip staff, the SPI family. That post went a little something like this. You said you're so excited to announce that you are on the SPI team under the RotoGrip umbrella. You said you'd like to thank Chris Schlemmer and the team at SPI for giving you this privilege. You went on to say super excited to represent the company on and off the lanes, and that you can't wait to see where this chapter will take you. Huge thanks to everyone that has been there for you and supported you and helped you get this far in your bowling career. A bunch of hashtags, including the signature J Ken, which I love. Maybe someday I'll have a signature hashtag. It's not going to be that cool though, I'll tell you that much. So I wanted to find out, what the folks at SPI, what Schlem was getting in you for this year or more, for this dream contract, right? We know, you're getting them for a year, but what are they getting in you? So here's what he said. I shot him an email. He said, his abilities speak volumes. Schlem said, you have an undeniable passion for the game that has led you this far. He said, we at the SPI family of brands appreciate the passion and drive to excel in this sport. He said, your dream is to compete on the PBA tour. And, well, the kid has definitely got some game, that's for sure. And he could legit compete on that level. There isn't a doubt in my mind. So we shall see if this step forward gets him closer to the dream of being on tour. Being part of the RotoGrip family and bowling some majors next year, he says you will have access to their tour reps and myself, meaning we will see what he can do, as in they will see what you can do. And he says he's looking forward to it. Obviously, that's high praise. Tell me what you think of what he had to say about you, having game and that he believes that you can legit compete at that level.
In all honesty, I am very appreciative for the compliments. I mean, I will say anyone that's known me my whole life or even last several years knows that I am literally my own worst critic. Like everyone says, I may have the game or the ability, and even here or there, I still don't quite see it. So to even hear that from him is just mind-boggling in a good way.
Yeah. Such a cool perk to bowl in a tournament where you have that offer at the end of it. I mean, it's a huge tournament. Carl has grown this thing to immense proportions. you've got this opportunity to compete with, and in your case, best a bunch of PBA titleist, multiple time PBA title winning pros, and get on this big stage, win all kinds of money, win this amateur staff contract. How has that feeling been for you, both in the immediate aftermath and now a week later?
In the immediate aftermath, it was unreal. It took me about, I'd say, a whole day, maybe 2 days to let it fully sink in. And then after that, it was just kind of like a whole, I really did this type of feeling. Like, wow, did I really just go out to Arizona and just win a tournament I did not expect to win on my second attempt?
Yeah.
So the overjoy feeling was unreal. It hit me like a train.
Yeah. And that's a good point. It was your second attempt, and you had a great, run there last year. How did that play into both coming back and maybe what your strategy was going into it this time around?
So most of it from I've learned in any tournament is it's more the mental game than it is the physical game. Obviously playing 1-2 is not an easy line by any means. I'm not ever saying it's going to be easy, I'm not going to ever say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's doable. Mm-hmm. But more of the fact is just following my process, one shot at a time. What's my process to throwing a good shot rather than throwing one out the window or the next lane to the left?
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned, going out to 1 and 2, and we saw that in spades in that final match. But this is a long format tournament over multiple days. Kind of walk us through what happened, what you saw out there, how you reacted, and how you made your way up the ladder through the different phases of this tournament, all the way to the finals and then to the championship.
So to mention one thing, that tournament has an option where you can buy like an early bird package. So 3 squads for X amount of dollars. So what my method was to use squad 1, my first attempt, to just kind of see what's out there. What are lanes asking for? Can I play here? Can I make this move, etc.? And then so I took my learning experience from that one, and all I really did was just kind of create a simple game plan and then just tried to stay open-minded. And then next thing I know, I found something on the gutter. Gave it a try again in the second attempt. The gutter was still there. So I kind of thought to myself, okay, well, it's good through the first couple of games. As transition hits, it's going to get finicky to the point where even just hitting the head pin is just fine. Leaving makeable spares and just trying to fill frames. And then I believe it was game 5. It was either the second or third attempt where I did notice something, that the gutter was still there as long as I switched covers. So granted, I used urethane all week just about. It was like throwing fresh urethane in transition, for instance, to start with. So I used urethane with 500 or 360 grit on the fresh, and then urethane with 500 grit in late transition. So it kind of told me the gutter was just there in general. Just had to have enough surface on the ball to let it pick up.
So that was kind of it. It was there and there for the taking. Did you see a lot of other guys going out that far?
No, I had one guy that tried it, and he said that was even quite a task. We'll put it that way, which it is. Not gonna lie.
Sure.
But anyone that's tried it, well, you know what? Props to them.
Yeah,
it's worth a try.
For sure. Yeah. So you get to match play. You work your way up. I mean, this is a big field. That you're button heads with pros, with Kyle Troop, with Michael Haugen. How'd you do against those guys? Were you able to, keep your cool and just kind of maintain through all that?
So match-wise, I didn't go directly against them, but even to be around them was amazing. And then I did lose a little bit of myself in the first match against Paul, where I threw 2 Brooklyns to win, which That was honestly a very disappointing feeling because I absolutely hate winning that way. Not throwing a good shot, but yet getting a good result. And obviously, when it comes to match play, you want to make the best shots you can in order to win. So I was a little disappointed about that one. So I walked that one off. Came to match number 2, and this match was kind of funny because I drew the same exact guy as I did in the same exact round last year, which was Brett Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like, what are the odds? Like, the odds are unreal about that one.
Yeah.
And then I felt a lot calmer, and it was a lot easier to trust my process and just go through the emotions.
Yeah. It sounds like, again, you've been there before. You understand the house a little bit after bowling it last year, similar opponents, and then you make the step ladder again, right? You're the top seed, if I recall, and you get into the championship match and you start off open. I mean, those matches go by so fast. That's got to be a deflating feeling. How were you able to rise above that?
So the first 2 frames were all nerves. So missing the 8-pin, 100% nerves, I yanked that thing a mile left. To start with, I thought I threw an okay shot, the second frame. And then I thought I made a spare, and it never got to the 8-pin. And I really mouthed back. I'm like, that's weird. But then I kind of took time to reflect. And I was like, dude, why am I nervous when I've been in a title match before? I've done this at a CBA. I've done this at the Minnesota Masters. I've done this at the K-Fire. Why should I be nervous? It's the same type of situation, just in a different field. So it's really just trying to regroup mentally and just kind of know that I can come back up. It's just, how do I approach it on the mental side?
Was there anything else that you told yourself, or was it just, hey, get back to basics, go through your process, and treat this like bowling because that's all it is?
So the biggest thing I tell myself, and I have to credit someone on this one, which is John Cryer Jr. We've used the acronym KISS before, which stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. And as the best acronym, I still live by to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. And what does that do for you? I mean, is it something that kind of makes you calm? What does it do that kind of gets you to where you need to be?
By nature, I'm a massive overthinker, so it helps me slow down the overthinking and just keep everything more condensed.
Okay. All right. So then, at least to the casual observer, it looked like you went even farther out and just whacked it. I mean, you had a huge string going, and Cortez was just done. He was done.
I wouldn't say he was quite done. I gave myself a fighting chance. I felt like let's put it this way. I felt like I could have executed just a little bit better towards the end, especially at the 7-pin, but otherwise, I thought he was going to do something. I thought he had a creative look trying to play with urethane from the inside, which, just seeing how he was playing safe, I literally thought he was going to find something and just start whacking him.
But in the end, there it was, right?
Somehow.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow.
Hey, whatever way it was, it worked out. Here's Jeff Miller chiming in live. He says, "Hey Josh, I chose to watch you and Andy over Monday Night Raw. That just say I'm a big fan."
Jeff Miller's a great guy. I mean, he's the father of one of my really good friends, Jessica Boyer.
Mm-hmm.
And I bowl with Jeff on Wednesday nights. Great dude. I mean, him and I will shoot the crap with each other here and there, but always a great guy to talk to.
Yeah. Well, I think we're more exciting than body slamming wrestlers, so I think you made a good choice there.
That's quite the compliment. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure. I did reach out to Carl because, he's running this thing. He's got the best seat in the house. He's watching you go. I'm like, what kind of stood out to you? Because he's got that seat for the field. He's seeing everybody do this. He said what really stood out about Josh was his composure. He said, you stayed patient, trusted what you saw, and made the right adjustments when others were pressing. He said, you threw it with confidence and looked locked in from the first shot of qualifying all the way through the stepladder. He said, the lanes at our event can challenge even the best, but Josh stayed mentally sharp and consistent, and that's what it takes to win here. We'll get to the pattern in a little bit, but is that something that you felt? I mean, it seemed like you kind of had a good plan, you executed it, and it worked out. He made it sound like you were a level above the field. Did you feel a level above the field throughout?
No. I knew going against guys like Darren Tang, Anthony Simonson, Michael Hoggett Jr., even Maximum Bob was going to be a hard task. And I knew that coming in, I had to be as patient as I could be, regardless. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. They say it's never a marathon, or it's never a sprint, but it's always a marathon. I mean, you look at the best of the best, and they treat every event like a marathon. They never jump to the lead. They just find a way there. Yeah.
And you had an interesting combination of folks that were in the hunt too. You had a super senior who made the top 5. He made the step ladder. You had, I believe there was a female who was in the match play. There was a 14-year-old in the match play. I mean, it really shows that despite the difficulty there are opportunities for two-handers, for young, for old, for women, for men, for lefties, for righties to really, put a dent in this thing.
What I've learned about that tournament the last couple of years is it's not just a one-man show. It's opportunity for anyone, literally anyone. If I can win that tournament, so can anyone else.
Yeah. The other thing is, again, it's only been going 3 years, but it's been gaining a lot of momentum. And in the short history that you have there, you've got you and a couple of other guys who are both from Arizona. You've got Matt Zweig and Kyle Ponzo. Both of them are Arizona natives, and they won the first 2 times. So you're the first from out of state, coming all the way from Minnesota to win that thing. And I asked Carl about that. He said having someone like Josh come from Minnesota and take home the title shows that this event truly has become a national destination. He says it doesn't matter where you're from. If you bring your A game, you've got a shot to win here. It takes, yes, you've got to perform. Doesn't matter where you're from. It's bowling. Everybody deals with the same shot. We deal with the same pins. We all have a chance, but it's a little easier to drive an hour, from your hometown in Arizona than it is to fly all the way from the Twin Cities and spend, a weekend and lodging and all that and fly back. And that takes some guts to do the first time. What told you that you had a chance in this initially last year, and that again, you're willing to, push your chips onto the table again, and spend resources, spend the time to take a crack at this?
So to start with, I'm always looking for a challenge, some way, somehow, even if it's just to get better. I mean, back in Minnesota, or here in Minnesota, we really don't have a ton of big events like that. We have our CBAs, we have our Twin States Masters, Minnesota Masters, so kind of like the whole normal 8-game qualifier tournaments, and we mostly have our state locals. So I figured, why not go out, take a challenge? I mean, the first person that mentioned this tournament to me was actually Bradley Howe. So to start with, I'm going to give him some credit there. And with hearing how hard it was, I kind of thought, you know what? Why not? It's a place I've never been to before. So let's just go out, give it a shot. No expectations, and just see where it goes.
Yeah. And obviously it's gone very well. I noticed afterwards when Emil and Schlem were interviewing you that you told them that this was the biggest win of your career. And when I brought that up to Carl, he said, that honestly hits me right in the heart. He said, hearing Josh say this was the biggest win of his career, and realizing that all three of our champions have said the exact same thing means more than words can express. He said, when I first created the Agent Ong Open, my goal was to build something meaningful, a stage where bowlers could chase their dreams, test themselves, and feel proud of what they accomplished. To know that each champion has felt that way, that tells me that we're doing something right. And, I kind of, when I talked to him over the weekend, and I said, it just looks, even from my vantage point, and I haven't been there, I've just seen the live stream and seen his marketing efforts from afar. It just looks big, between what he does to promote it and what you see on the screen. It just looks like a big deal. And that's something special, and it's hard to do. What's it like to be out there? Just the experience of it. Not even saying bowling well in it, but the grandeur of it, really.
Like, honestly, even bowling that tournament is just a unique breed of its own. Like, you're going against the cream of the crop down there. You're even going against national talent, professionals, name it. You got people that are coming from, you got Kyle Troop that came from wherever he lives. You had Sam Cooley that came from Australia last year. It's like I said, at first overwhelming, but it's the moment. It's the real moment.
Yeah.
Embrace it while you can. Not to mention, too, that Arizona is a beautiful area, especially in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
So it's like a nice little vacation spot, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Back here in the Midwest, of course, they're paying attention. They're watching you. You mentioned Jessica Boyer. I asked her what it was like to see you come out on top. She said that she was extremely proud of you. Says she's known you now for about 6.5-ish years. She said she's watched you improve every year in your game. So she believes that you were very deserving to go out and win it, to watch someone who actually puts time into their game and win this shows that it's important to practice and not give up. I ask a lot of people on this show because it's become cliche to say, I put in the work. I put in the work. I want to put in the work. Well, what does that mean? It means something different for everybody, right? You think you've put in the work by practicing X amount of hours or doing these drills or, whatever, shooting this many 10 pins or however you define it. What does that mean to you? Because obviously she has respect for what you do.
So my version of putting in work is working on your weaknesses. So whether that's playing, let's say, a very tight angle, spare shooting, I don't know, let's say playing 6 arrow, something that makes you very uncomfortable. Something that makes you very uncomfortable to where you want to work on it enough and get comfortable with it in the case you have to actually perform it. So, for instance, the 1-2 was actually a good example because not very many people are the most comfortable playing right up 1-2. I could be wrong, but that's just what I've generally seen.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I can tell you from past experience because, yeah, it's not a big part of the majority, we'll say, of the modern game. But when it's in play, and you can do that, as you obviously showed, it's a good weapon to have. It's good to be able to draw from, for sure. She also said he showed me the pattern that they had to bowl on. Oofda, she said. That was disgusting. So proud of him for grinding through that. And I do want to put that up just so people can take a look. So they kind of put up this first graphic on the left to show kind of what it looks like in the initial run, but then the reverse run shows that you've kind of got a little speed bumps off to the left and right there too. You said you were able to play the gutter, but what did it, what were the characteristics of it that maybe you couldn't see on a lane graph like this?
Couldn't tell you, dude. I mean, I just looked at the graph. When Carl told me there were 2 graphs, I was like, wait a minute. There's no way. How do you get 2 graphs? And then when he showed me them, I looked at the first one. I'm like, okay, that makes a little sense, I guess, as to why scores were as low as they were. But then when I saw the second graph, that was a slap right in the face. But in a way, I kind of assumed it at the same time, because my first 2 shots, when I saw my ball go longer than 35 feet, my first thought was there has to be a speed bump right near the end of the pattern. Ironically, this pattern almost reminded me of one of the Team USA trials patterns, day 5 pattern from this year, I believe, because that was a hammerhead pattern, which is what I thought Carl laid out.
Oh.
Just shorter.
All right. Did I mean, what about the transition? You kind of talked about it a little bit, where you had to kind of at least change surface, right? Urethane ball, maybe a little less, a little more surface, as the lanes changed. But you know, what did you see there? Did the fronts burn up quick? Did they hold their integrity long?
It kind of felt like the fronts were going away from me, but at the same time, anytime I try to move left of 5, 6 at the arrows and try to point it to about 3, 4, it literally felt like my ball wanted to hook in the first 15 feet every single time. So it was like either I speed up and fight it, which I tried to, and the result of that was hitting the 3-pin square in the face, or did I want to try and get playing further left and just play the 1-to-1 basically?
Yeah.
And even that choice was just incredibly hard. You know, watching guys like True, Cortez, and all the guys that have both PBA national events do that type of stuff, make it look easy. I mean, it's flabbergasting in a way.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to belabor this point, but I've got to at least mention the progressive. I know that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but it's where you were playing, right? And it's a fresh shot, and you figure that's what, you know, you're going to do. I mean, coming off of that, are you thinking, you know what? I took the title. That's enough for me.
My thought was I would love to keep going, but the aftermath, my thought was, hey, I was committed. Yeah. I was committed to the 1-2 the whole time. Because even before I took the shot, I was like, I don't care what the result is. I don't care if I gutter. I don't care if I big 4, Lily even. I'm staying on the 1-2. That's where I threw it all week.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a free shot. Let's go in.
You're going in blind. You do what you know. Right?
Hey,
yeah.
Commitment's commitment.
That's right. Did Carl let you keep the belt?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
And even then, it's like, how would I have gotten that on the plane to start with? There was no way TSA would let me through that.
Oh, man.
Even the big check, too, I had to ship it home because I was like, I don't think that's going to fly with TSA. I really just was like, I'm going to play it safe and just save myself the airport hassle.
I always had this great vision of a promotional video where somebody with a big novelty check like that goes to a bank and tries to cash it like through the, you know, the drive up window or something. Hasn't come to fruition yet, but you know, maybe someday. I don't know.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I mean, maybe just for giggles, I'll try it out once.
Yeah, there you go.
See how someone reacts.
Yeah, for sure. Let's kind of go back to the beginning of your story in bowling. How did you get started in this sport?
Believe it or not, I've been bowling for 19 years. The most ironic way to really ever start was just fine. I'm kind of a natural, I guess. I mean, the first game I went bowling, I shot like 150, literally. Wow. Not really trying. I'm like, is that good? Is that bad? Like, just trying to knock down 10 pins was all that came in my head. Yeah. I mean, I didn't strike much. Let's give them all splits there, but try to make spares. I was like, is 150 okay? And then
pretty darn
high school team in high school, and they taught me how to hook the ball there. And my version of learning how to hook the ball was always keeping your hand underneath it. That way you get the lift with your fingers.
Okay.
Which I guess I can kind of see where my game came from there.
Yeah.
Even then, I've always watched professionals on YouTube. I've watched guys like Pete Weber a lot. I've watched Sean Rash. Heck, I've watched Chak a few times too, because I've always wondered how they hooked a ball like that. And even seeing it firsthand half the time, it's kind of like, maybe I want to be a power player. Because I was taught Pet the Kitty for a reference release.
Yeah.
And I guess I can kind of see it now, but at the same time, I've always just wanted to hook the ball. Like, I've always thought hooking all 39 boards was really cool.
Yeah. Now, Carl said you did get a side plate, though.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that didn't have to, you could like put that in your check bag or carry on and you were okay?
We were all good there. TSA had no questions about it. The only question I had was coming out there, they inspected my rosin bag, which Minneapolis always does that, I feel like.
Okay.
So
if that's the worst thing that happens.
I literally went through it and I was like, let me guess, rosin bag.
Yep.
On my backpack, check her out.
Yeah. So you're talking about this in terms of, I started and then went on to my high school team. How old were you when you started?
I was 10 when I started bowling initially. And then when I started high school, I was 15.
Okay.
Like started a high school team. I didn't start high school at 15, but I wasn't confident to even try to make the team at that point.
Oh, I see.
So bowled high school for 3 years and then just found myself improving nearly each and every year somehow. Learned on varsity my senior year, which was cool. I was going for all conference, but unfortunately, I was not good enough.
Okay.
And I was definitely a lot more result oriented there.
Okay. And where were you bowling? Where were you in high school?
So I bowled for Springlane Park.
Okay.
So just in our city, a little south of where I live in Blaine. And we bowled at Blaine Brook Bowl, which is where I work at, ironically. And then we bowled at other centers like Ham Lake Lanes, Andover Lanes, all the surrounding centers. Classic, Super. Basically those 5 centers.
So Andover, Anoka, Coon Rapids,
Yes.
Blaine-ish, those areas. Okay. And tell me about the high school environment, because again, I talk to a lot of people from a lot of states and they do high school a little differently. I bowled high school in Minnesota and it was all Baker system. And I'm assuming it was for you too.
It was the exact same way. And it was all based off of field percentages. So basically in general, just making your spares and getting your strikes when you can.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, you're going into this probably thinking, okay, so there's an importance on spare making and shot making. Is that something that kind of then that importance then kind of rolls over into your practice and, your emphasis on those things, making spares, making good shots?
So the spare shooting back then was at the back of my head, but the importance mainly then was being consistent, throwing the same shot wherever I go. One thing I did remember was how Ham Lake played back then. I remember the coach telling us our furthest miss outside was like the 9 board. For some weird reason, I never understood why. I don't know if it was OB or if it was just early hook or whatever it was, but we've always had to play right around 13, 14, 15th arrows out to about 8, 9. For some weird reason. And I find that weird because if I go to Ham Lake in practice nowadays, it's wide open. I can bounce the ball out to about 4 or 5 and it still comes back easy.
Okay. Yeah. I never remember bowling well there. And so I could understand that maybe it was a goofy shot. At least it probably was back in my day, but I'm a little older, so they may have changed lanes since then. But Jay Santos, who recalled watching you in the Agent Ong Open, said this guy was playing the gutter like a maestro at the Agent Ong tournament. I watched most of it. And yeah, you stressed the importance of that a couple times. Can you kind of get into maybe how you either learned or maintained that skill of playing the gutter, playing the twig like that?
Being very honest with you, where I've learned most of my game was actually through Bradley. And there was one year I went to a sweeper in Faribault at what used to be J&J, now is JMO's. I remember Bradley playing like the one board on a 37-foot flat pattern. And I was watching him. I'm like, how in the heck is he trusting this? It's 37 feet dead flat. I'm trying to play like 5, and I got nothing. Whereas he's the one just leaving makeables and getting his strikes here and there too. And he just told me it's just all trust. And I had to learn how to trust the ball to do whatever it needs to do.
Yeah.
So it took me a very good amount of time to learn how to play 1-2. And it was incredibly hard at first.
Yeah. Was it just going out there and doing it over and over again, or did you need someone to kind of guide you through that process?
It was me just trying to get comfortable, really. I mean, trying to find how I can play this line, where do I need to stand, etc.
Yeah. And for people who maybe haven't seen you throw the ball, and thanks to Jessica, I've got a little B-roll that I can show them. But
oh God,
you turn it a little bit, and that's what it really impresses me about your versatility is you look at people with hand, and it isn't maybe the first reaction is this guy is gonna go.
That cringes me. Oh no, she had to do that to me.
Is this bad?
The second video was where I hit my fat face. Not to mention, I looked like freaking Justin Bieber. So bad. That was horrible.
Well, I mean, I'm not really familiar with what he looks like, but anyway, what I was gonna say is, we think of someone who can turn it up like that, and maybe they're probably not going to be able to play way out, but you can. You've got that dimension in your game, and you can really play wherever. I mean, with that much turn, you can play way in, and I've seen you do it, and you can play way out, as we've seen at Agent Ong. I mean, that's got to, help your confidence tenfold, right?
It does. It helps me in a way knowing that I can play all 7 arrows just about. I mean, there's times in practice where I go on the house shot, it's so dry. I'm like, hey, let's play 5th, 6th, 7th arrow, get in front of the ball return. Do something that I wouldn't have to do very often. But in the case I have to, then I'm ready for it.
Yeah. No, it's just really impressive. And, I'll give you props for that all day long. And Jessica said, he's constantly wanting to improve, wanting to be better, get better mentally and physically in the sport. She says a lot of people don't have that motivation for their game. And, where does that come from? The motivation to get better? Because a lot of us say it, and I catch myself doing it. Oh, I should really practice more. But then, things come up, life happens, you get sidetracked, you think, I just don't want to, things, right? Human nature. But she sees you, motivated and, driving through all the distractions to get it done. Where's that come from?
So where it initially came from was Team USA trials back in 2020. And I remember watching the ceremony, and I was in my head, man, how cool would it be to be up there? But at the same time, that was before I really started doing tournaments. That was where I was going in blind, just wanted to bowl something tough, obviously on a tough field. And I remember the feeling of being very, very upset and feeling like I was very set back. And that alone pushed me to work harder. So I tried doing CBAs and made the first 2 cuts there. And then COVID hit, of course. And then I felt like I was at the top of my game there. And I tried bowling again after about a month and a half because I decided to cheat over to Wisconsin. So I will say thank you, Wisconsin, for having bowling centers open when ours were closed. I threw a ball for the first time. I remember throwing the ball 3 miles an hour slower than normal. I was like, why am I throwing so slow? What's going on here? I felt so rusty. I had no confidence in my game whatsoever. I was hitting here. I was hitting there. I was doing this with the bowling ball for all I know. And it was just like, well, if we're going to get better like we want to, you're going to have to put some time in. You're going to have to put everything aside and just start doing something.
Yeah. So how long did it take before you felt like yourself again?
I would say a couple months at least. It took a good amount of time to get my timing back, for my swing to get loose, and for me to not feel like I was throwing the ball from lane 22 over lane 28.
Okay. All right. And, you know, when you hit that point where you're comfortable again on the lanes in your own skin, feeling like, okay, now I have the confidence to go up and make a shot like I did before COVID or whatever. You know, what's that feeling like to kind of be almost reborn?
It feels great, but at the same time, there's that feeling where you're like, I just want to get just a little bit better again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be just a little more accurate, because at that time I was focused on the arrows more than anything. Where was I hitting at the arrows? Was I hitting 15? Was I hitting 22? I wasn't too focused on, I need my break point here. I need my break point to be 10 at, let's say, 45 feet. I was never focused on that. I was not a front to back aimer. I was always a side to side aimer.
You mentioned that, you know, you work, I believe, at Blaine.
I do.
Okay. What do you do there? And, you know, how does that help kind of feed your need to be part of the game, of the sport, of the industry?
So I work the front counter there, and basically our demographic is a lot of good league bowlers. So I bowl the Thursday night league there to start with, and we have guys like John Carter Jr. in our league. We have Jessica Boyer. We have John Holmes, Nick Hogan, people that are actually good to start with. And part of that pushes me to get better every single time. Whether John or Brandon shoot 800 every week or some type of honor score, those are the type of guys that push me to be better, is bowling guys that are better than me. And I always like a challenge.
Yeah. And then, you know, John goes and has a son like Brandon, and he can play the twig also. And every so often you get in a match like this, and oh my gosh, you shoot 280.
Who sent that one? Was that Brandon?
No, that was Jeff.
Well,
Jeff said.
that's good. That just shows that Brandon is one hell of a talent.
I added the black, you know, crud, but yeah. Oh my gosh, what a match that would have been. I mean, what was that like to be a part of?
Awesome, but at the same time, it was like I really just lost with 280.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm losing to someone who averages 250 on house.
Yep.
So I was like, whatever. It's not like it hurt my feelings.
Right.
I threw 280, and I really had about 220 quality.
Okay.
So
I mean, all you can do is just hammer the pocket, right? If they fall, they fall.
At least try to.
Yeah, for sure. Jay says, Pfeff, can you ask him about that bonus ball? Yeah, that was the progressive. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. If you rewind a little, I said we're not going to belabor the point. We're just going to mention it and then get out. What Jeff did say though is that that he's so proud of you. He said the maturity and the mental game that you have and how far you've come. He said in the first 9 weeks of league this year, you've won the last game scratch pot at least 5 times, or better known as the Josh Kennedy Retirement Fund.
No comment. No comment.
Hey, you get in those things to win, right?
That is true.
Yeah. Yeah. I would if I could. I mean, it's a good feeling to win that stuff. You know, other than that, you also were in the CBA doubles this past weekend at Saxon with Jace Goodell, took 4th place. How was that for you?
Bowling with Jace is great, honestly. I've known a kid for a while. I've always known he was going to be a really good bowler, and he has proven me right there. So we bowled with each other back in 2021, and we finished 6th because the Vermiliers knocked us out of the step ladder, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So we tried again in 2022, and it was at a house that I am very, very hit or miss at, which is Mermaid. Mermaid is either really good to me or it's really bad for me. And that year it was really bad. We miscut by a lot, to say the least. So we took a couple years off from each other, tried bowling with other partners, and I didn't make any cuts. I don't remember if he did or not, but if he bowled me, he still went to me cut because I was horrible in doubles tournaments. Then we tried again this year. And when I saw that we were bowling at Saxon, my first thought was, at least it's somewhere that I feel like I have a good chance at. I'm not saying that's to rip on Mermaid by any means, but I feel like I've bowled better at Saxon than I have at Mermaid in the past.
Yeah. So
we go in, we see the 2 patterns are almost identical. The 40-foot Monticelli pattern, then the 44-foot Salvino pattern. My first thought was, if I can throw Sane on the medium pattern, which I was not able to, my hindsight there was wrong. And I feel like I'd have a good chance, especially if I could play the gutter, or at least a 4-board. But what I did not expect was the longer pattern to play easier than what I actually anticipated. I thought it was going to be very tricky. And to my surprise, for me, for some reason, it opened up quicker than I thought it would. And we were able to whack the long pattern. The medium pattern, however, was a learning process.
Mm-hmm. And Jace is a 2-hander, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. And, you know, how are you guys as doubles partners? I mean, are you communicating with each other? Are you able to play off of each other, get to a point where you can make the move off of each other and things like that? Or are you totally independent?
So we were able to communicate with what we see, which him and I see the lanes a little differently, but we were still able to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. Playing off of him, for me, is actually a little tricky because his type of ball roll, he's more twirly than I am. Okay. So he's got more tilt for a 2-hander, and I have like nearly 2 to 4 degree tilt. So very little tilt. But the communication part was what helped us, because when he made, like, let's say, a 2-in-1 move, I 2-in-1 as well. And we were in sync right there. What we made sure to do this year was we would hold ourselves and each other accountable on our weaknesses. So let's say mental game, for instance. I told him, hold me accountable on my mel game. Make sure I'm in the process at all times, staying process-oriented versus result-oriented. And I did well for about 90% of the tournament. And this is where I apologize to Jace, because I decided to run out of gas and bowl terrible in the step ladder and choke up a potential better finish. So, Jace, I'm sorry about that. Wish I could have done better.
But that, you know, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I'm guessing this is him, right? That's my doubles partner.
Mr. Hurricanes, yes, that is him.
But that's the thing with doubles, right? I mean, you can shoot 290 and it just might happen that your partner shoots 170. I mean,
So,
that's it.
it was actually Baker doubles to start
Oh,
with.
okay. So your partner may strike, all 5 frames and you may, spare all 5 frames.
Yes.
It's kind of the luck of the draw, right?
I guess you could put it that way. I mean, really, my whole thing when it comes to bowling that type of tournament is being able to communicate and just trying to make the correct moves in general. So, because, I mean, if I can spare all 5 frames, cool. But at the same time, I would like to pitch in a little more and add a couple strikes here and there. Maybe put a string together. I mean, obviously shooting 230, 240 most games is great in that type of environment.
Sure. Yeah. So where do you go from here? I mean, Schlem said this is a guy with big dreams to go on tour, and he talked about you shooting majors and things like that. Is that something we can expect to see, over the course of the next year? Is you out there on the roster for things like Masters and US Open and tournaments like that?
It's in the air for sure. I actually tried the Masters for my first time this last year because I kind of thought, you know what, Brandon wanted to go to Detroit to bowl the Masters. Granted, he won a spot. And then my friend Tyler Kurkowski also won a spot at the Twin Cities Masters last year. So my thought was, hey, let's just kind of like make it into a party bus. Let's all go together.
Yeah.
And even have Brock join because, Brock can see the lanes as well as most people can. He's almost like our secret tour rep in a way, or ball rep, I should say.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I gave it a try, and day one was quite the learning curve, especially with the hourglass pattern that I have never done well on.
Okay.
But then I've learned more and more throughout the week about my game, how to play the lanes a little more properly, and improvement showed. Went from minus 180 to minus 160 with a minus 30 in between.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Sure enough, going even the first day would have helped. If only it was that simple, but clearly it's not.
Brock says he does show up at weird times. So.
See, I mean, even as a bowler too, Brock just shows up at the most random times. Like, he's actually one where I could say he is really good at punching out the 10th frame at the most unexpected time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, he's like you said, he was a faux ball rep for me once at a tournament, and he knew what he was talking about. He just couldn't compensate for my spare misses and poor shot making. And
I was waiting for you to say casino, because if there was a casino nearby,
no,
that would have been ringing up his phone.
no, Concord. It's not really near a casino.
Fair
enough. Nope. It was just me. He couldn't make up for me. That's the problem.
It happens some days.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, with that, let's move on to this.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
She mentions Will Madafee on that video every week, but now I actually have a chance to congratulate Will Madafee for making CBA Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's awesome and well-deserved. Hopefully, maybe, someday he actually, comes on the show like he was challenged to do all those weeks ago. But if not, that's okay. But we'll just know you have an open invitation. But Josh, right now the floor is yours. So tell us who you'd like to see come on a future episode of Bowling with the Fef, because I know you might even have multiple challenges here.
So I'm gonna be a little different. I have a top 5 pick here. So
okay.
First one I want on the show doesn't have to be in any order. I would like to challenge Brady Stearns. As great as a bowler he is, and he is obviously the best bowler in the state of Minnesota, also up there in the Midwest region. So I challenge Brady to come on, talk about his experience. So that's number 1 right there. My second pick, I would like Will Matafee on the show, with him being a good friend of mine. Will's probably got some great stories to tell, especially about him, how to lasso the pins the way he does.
Okay.
And I know I'm about to get a $5 fine out of him for that. Number 3, I got a few wild cards here for you. So first wild card is Jacob Buttroff, with him and I knowing about the whole twin joke between us and how we look similar.
Okay.
So I would like Butters on the show for that one. Number 4, here's an ultimate wild card. She's a YouTuber, and she has obviously worked on her game a lot, kind of like I have in a way. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Clausen.
Ah.
And then number 5, the man who has taught me a lot about bowling, has his own pro shop. He's been on your show once, I believe. Bradley Howe.
Okay.
Those are my 5.
All right. I'm really hoping that I didn't mess up any of the spellings of these. If I did, I can make a quick correction. Oops.
Just put Wild Bill in between Will and Matafee, and I think that should be good, because everyone knows Wild Bill.
Bill. Yeah. No, those are some great suggestions. Love them all. All right. So yeah, Brady has never been on. Wild Bill has never been on. Butters, I have interviewed once. It was just kind of a recorded thing at PBA All-Star Weekend, but yeah, he was great there. I'd love to have him on live. Sarah, I have not had on. I've messaged with her, told her she should come on, but it just kind of fizzled, as messages do. And Briley, I have, we've had him on like during tournament live streams and recorded stuff, but never like like an episode like this. So yeah, these are all good suggestions. I like this, because I don't think anybody has ever rolled out 5 names like that. I think this is a first. So, but listen, a guy who qualified for a progressive, I think, has earned extra names, right? So
I like it.
Yeah. So there we go. Brady, Will, Jacob, Sarah, Briley. Consider yourself challenged. Open invite, Bowling with the Fef. You can email me at bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com, or find me on Facebook. Tap me on the shoulder when I'm in your local center, and tell me that that Josh sent you, and we'll make this happen. And hopefully we can have you on the show just like Josh did tonight. But no, it has been a pleasure to have you on. We are actually going to be a few weeks until we go on live again. We'll have a couple of recorded things coming up in the next week or two, including the Junior Hall of Fame tournament in Milwaukee and some other things that I'll get promoted on social pretty soon. But Josh, congratulations! Agent Ong Open that's a tough cookie right there to get crumbled, but you did, and in fine fashion, and like Jay said, a maestro on those last couple boards of the lane, and a great win, and congratulations on the contract too. I'm sure you'll represent Roto Grip well, and it's great to be here to look on in the middle.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and we will see you again next time.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lane. So Eau Claire, Wisconsin area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988. And Visionary Video Hub. Video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.